6.8, consideration of creation of a work group to discuss co-management of Clear Lake and direction to staff to develop a draft co-management agreement for the consideration of Lake County Board of Supervisors. Supervisor Rasmussen and myself put this one together for the co-management, and I'll let you go ahead and read this.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, fellow board members, what you have in front of you today is a request for direction to our county staff to work on and bring us back a co-management agreement that we can look at to decide at that point if we want to approve it. Just with some background on this, last year, the state of California implemented legislation that asked their Department of Natural Resources to work with tribal governments and develop co-management agreements. So CNRA is actually now already doing that for work that they have with tribes, not only in Lake County, but other counties. And as you know, we also have a lot of work and collaboration going on with our tribal governments here with respect to projects on the lake. The Clear Lake has been our responsibility since 1973 when the state of California delegated that to the county under the purview of our Water Resources Department. And so with this co-management agreement, we're not proposing to give up any county rights or responsibilities or even make it a legally binding agreement at this point in time, but rather have it as a mutual pledge with involved entities, the county, the tribal governments, the state agencies, which are mostly going to be from CNRA, and basically have a pledge and a written agreement on how we're going to work together to manage the resource that is Clear Lake and the other, the whole watershed of Clear Lake, basically. So at this point, that's the request. There were some meetings that happened last year where this was discussed, and city governments were there, county agencies, tribal agencies, agencies of the Department of Natural Resources, and everybody was in agreement that this was the right path because it's so important. You know, Clear Lake is really our crown jewel, and there's a lot of things that goes on with it. We have the fish and wildlife resources. Many people use it as a water resource. It's also important to our economic development. So that's how it came forward, and it's my opinion that we're past due time to have a written agreement like this. With that, I'll turn it over to Chair Crandall for any further comments.
Thank you, Brad, for bringing this forward. I know you came to the TIPO meeting that's held every month and ran through this item as well to talk about. And it is very important. I know that times we'll work on specific projects, whether it be through any department or every department, and at times there's a difference in how the engagement with the tribe is. So we want to try to get this into a situation where it's a collaborative and consistent engagement with the tribes. And co-management is something that's been brought forward by especially in Sonoma County when it came to the Kashaya and their lands, working with the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors to get their actual ancestral land on the coast. And there was also with Moloch Loic and also the land management of Walker Ridge, Moloch Loic now is what it's called. And so with the Yochadahi tribe. So looking to mirror some of those types of agreements and work collaboratively with our local 7 tribes, of course. Supervisors, so go ahead.
And I think our tribal liaison had some brief comments to add.
Yes, go ahead, Terry. Yes.
There we are. Terry Logston, Chief Climate Resiliency Officer and Tribal Liaison. Thank you for considering this item. I received comment this morning from Deputy Secretary of Tribal Affairs, Geneva E.B. Thompson, who's the representative on the Blue Ribbon Committee from CNRA, and she apologized that she couldn't be here. She thought where she would be at 11 o'clock would have internet, and it did not. So the Thank you to the County of Lake Board of Supervisors for the opportunity to share quick comments on behalf of the California Natural Resources Agency on your agenda item regarding co-management. My name is Geneva E.B. Thompson, and I serve as the California Natural Resources Agency Deputy Secretary for Tribal Affairs and the agency's representative on the Blue Ribbon Committee for the rehabilitation of Clear Lake. I'm sorry I'm not able to join you in person and appreciate the ability to submit these comments for your discussion today. The agency appreciates the many different opportunities to closely coordinate with the county and the California Native American tribes for the restoration of Clear Lake and the protection of the many plant and animal species that we and the environment rely on. As we continue to strengthen our partnerships in this work, we see a lot of value in developing meaningful and durable co-management agreements and relationships with all of the governments tasked with the stewardship of the beautiful watershed of Clear Lake. Formal co-management allows governments to puzzle piece our collective jurisdictions together to ensure coordinated and streamlined timelines, processes, and funding to advance shared priorities. Many state departments are in early conversations with some of the tribes in this region on a co-management relationship, and we warmly welcome the opportunity to closely partner with the county in these conversations as well. Thank you for your consideration in directing staff time to participate in this work. We look forward to future collaboration opportunities. Please do not hesitate to reach out if I can answer any questions. Geneva. And I also, just for your information, to read out, per AB 1284, co-management means a collaborative effort established through an agreement in which two or more sovereigns mutually negotiate, define, and allocate amongst themselves the sharing of management functions and responsibilities for a given territory, area, or set of natural resources. So it really is about building a collaboration for the Clear Lake watershed.
Thank you, Terry. Supervisor Sabatier?
Yeah, I don't have any issues with this at all. I think that, especially the last point that Vice Chair Rasmussen mentioned, if our lake is healthy, if our lake is well managed, not only does the ecology do well, but our economy does well with it. And so to me, the more, I mean, the eyes are already there, but if the better collaboration can exist, then we're all going to benefit from that. I do have one little problem. It's not a problem, but the list of departments involved, is it possible to start with, I think there needs to be a position for our Chief Climate Resiliency Officer and Tribal Liaison. She's on the list, and I think it's for good reason that she would be there. But Water Resources and County Council I see as a highlight. The rest, I would say, let's create something of substance and share with the rest of the departments, because they're not going to manage the lake. They interact with the lake in some way, shape, or form. And so this is a co-management. This is not something else. And so just because we ask so much from our staff for so many different committees and so many other different things, if it's possible to start with a minimal of those in order to get moving, and obviously with the tribes as well, I'm just speaking specifically about the departments. And then if there's a need for comment from them, then the comments, something could be submitted to them for comments. But I don't know how many meetings this will be, but that's a lot of departments. And just that's my only concern is the list. I don't know if it's necessary, but that's just me.
All right. Go ahead, Vice Chair.
I should have been more clear about that. The reason they're all on there is because they're possible agencies that may need to be consulted, but I think what you stated makes sense, in that, in my mind, it was going to be Water Resources and Tribal Liaison that got this started.
Okay.
So that's really, and there's even other agencies that aren't on here that may need to be consulted. So that's kind of where it's at.
So it would be almost like a community development doing an RFR, where basically here's what we're thinking. Please provide some comments and input, and then afterwards coming back with all that comment and input. I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah, they're certainly, they wouldn't be the lead. It'd be the two primary, and then go from there.
All right.
And I'd love to hear from Water Resources Director, who is in the room as well.
Come on up, Dr. Upadhyay.
So, yeah, it's Pawan Upadhyay, Lake County Water Resources Director. I think that's definitely a step in the right direction, and I think probably Water Resources and probably the Terry might be a good point to start with, and then we can include the department as need basis. Yeah,
All right.
thank you.
Okay, so with that, we'll go ahead, we'll go ahead and open it up for the public. If there's anyone that would like to speak on this, please come on up and all right.
Familiar face.
Chintama.
Yeah. Chinta Duwe name kori. Good afternoon. Wakshi Ron Montez Buchike Rabenapo. I'm an elder from the Rock people called Rabenapo, which people locally call the Mission, a rancheria off of Soda Bay Road. Original territories were at the state park, which we now have a MOU with them and have regained some access to go and gather from our homelands, and also to visit some of our relatives who are still there in some of the areas that most people don't know. They're buried there. And all of the resources that are there, I go out and I speak to them and I sing to them. And so I'm re-establishing that relationship. That was only, I had to do it secretly before, but because we have an MOU now, I can go and do that in daylight, in the evening, or whenever I feel like it. And I appreciate that. The water that we're talking about, there still is issues with that back to the very beginning, where the Native people were left off the conversation and at the table when there was an agreement with Yolo County. That is still something that needs to be looked at as far as we're concerned. But until that happens, we're very concerned about the creeks that run into Clear Lake. We're concerned about the shorelines and the different varieties of invasive species that are taking over some of the areas. And we're concerned about the quality of the water. I was talking to my nieces and nephews the other day. I was raised on the Ilem about 100 foot from the shore, and my chore was to get up in the morning, every morning, and jump in the lake and go out and find my fish traps, because that's what helped support me, take the fish out and reset my traps. Rain or shine, I had to go out and do that. I was very familiar with my relationship with water. It became part of me. So Kabatin, Big Water, is me. I'm that lake. That lake is related to me. This ground is my mother. And the sky up there, and the sun, and all that I'm related to. But I'm really concerned about how effective the water coming in and providing for our chai or our hitch, because we've been fighting for that for many years. We have it on the agendas, and it has been looked at. There's still no answers. There was no run this last year, and before that, they were out into the lake at the entrance to a lot of these, according to the fish biologists.
Ron, if we can wrap up.
Okay,
Yeah.
but they didn't come up the lake, up the rivers. And so my main concern is that we as a group consolidate our efforts, our point of view, and our emphasis on the quality of our water for everyone to benefit from, especially my other relatives, the fish, and so on. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right.
Good afternoon. I'm Sarah Ryan, Environmental Director for the Big Valley Band of Pomo Indians. It's hard to follow Ron, but I just want to echo what he said, that there are so many different things that the tribes are paying attention to when it comes to natural resources, and it's because the livelihood of and health of the watershed equals the health of the people. So working together in a co-management relationship makes a lot of sense, because the tribes don't move away from here. They don't, they continue to use the land, the water, the birds, all of it on a very regular basis, and need it to be healthy. And so the tribes find funding, and make it happen. They're out there doing observations. There's a lot of information that tribal programs collect right now that could be, even further utilized by the county. And we know that in this age of challenging, budgetary issues, that working together makes a lot of sense. So thank you for that opportunity. And Brad, I'm really glad that you'll be a part of this, because as a district supervisor for where Big Valley is located, I know we have the opportunity to work together on a lot of things for that area. And again, as Ron said, the creeks are really important, and those are where the Hitch and the Chai start their lives. So we want to make sure there's good water and enough of it, and all, the big picture. So thank you so much, and we support this measure.
Thank you, Sarah. Any other public comment? Any on Zoom?
Yes, we have Kate Schmidt.
All right. If you can unmute, you'll have 3 minutes.
Good morning, board. Thank you, Chairman Crandall, for allowing me to speak. My name is Kate Schmidt Hopper. I serve on several boards that help to support the beauty of the County of Clear Lake, though I don't speak as a representative of either the Land Trust or the Resource Conservation District today. I speak as a private citizen. I am proud that we have brought forward this healing minute of supporting a memorandum of understanding and a co-management with our tribal nations in the County of Clear Lake, County of Lake. And thank you so much for bringing this forward. And I'm proud that I am able to speak today to you, and I'm proud of you as supervisors if you vote and support. So please vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Kyle Hill.
Kyle, if you can unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
there you go.
Good afternoon, Board Samal Day. I'm in favor of this initiative, and just wanted to express some suggestions if they haven't already been considered. But just in emphasizing that there's long-term sustainability and commitment beyond this single agreement, and making sure that whatever we do today, is forward-thinking for future generations to engage and continue to co-manage the lake together. Ensuring that tribal sovereignty is respected throughout the process, ensuring that along with county staff, that tribal governments and knowledge keepers, integrating tribal ecological knowledge are in a part of the process. I know some of the issues that we've run into before, especially when we're thinking about the general plan, is a lot of times staff will develop these documents without, and then propose them to tribes to consider afterwards. But I think engaging them earlier on in the process, I think, is very important, just to kind of demonstrate and show that we are working collaboratively together as agencies. And also to consider the realities that some tribal people in Lake County aren't affiliated with the local 7, and so how do we ensure that their voices are heard, as well as spiritual leaders within the community that might not be in official positions to have a voice, to ensure that their perspective and their knowledge as spiritual people is considered throughout this process as well, because we do know as tribal people that our land is connected to our spirituality and our life ways, and so making sure that we broaden our perspectives in doing this work. But I'm glad to hear that this is an issue that's taking place, and it's a great step forward for everyone here, because what's good for tribal people is good for all people. So thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. Any others on Zoom? So we'll go ahead and close public comment, and I'll just make a quick, I think what would probably help with that suggestion is with the Local 7. I think Big Valley obviously has a benefit right there. They have Ron, so he's an elder and he's the TIPO. So, but I think like with other tribes, to ask them to send an elected leader and then an elder, so then that way they have that covered, because then you have that historical knowledge, that empirical knowledge to go along with it, and then you have someone that's a decision maker that can bring it back. So make sure to emphasize that. I like that idea. Supervisor Sabatier.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, appreciated that Mr. Montez had mentioned the creeks, because if you don't fix the source, we could do all the work that we want on the lake, and it doesn't really solve the solution. It's very temporary. Does this include the source? Because it only speaks specifically to Clear Lake in the memo. I just want to clarify to better understand that this is about, because even Yolo County has, for example, the rights to the lake. They also have rights to the source, which is the creeks. So this would include the bodies of water that dump into the lake.
The intent is the watershed of Clear Lake.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that would include all tributaries running into the lake.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify, because it says management responsibilities for Clear Lake. I
Right.
like the idea, because I think it makes sense to look at the whole. I just wanted to clarify publicly.
My mind was caught up with Yolo County and then how they're also trying to get Rodman Slough once Middle Creek restoration happens, but that's just my mind
Yes.
working.
No, thank you for clarifying that, because that was the intent.
All right. With that, I think we have,
I don't know if we need a motion. I thought it was direction, but is that okay, Lloyd?
And that can be done, thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, that can be done by consensus. We
all
approve.
right.
Great.
Yeah,
I think
great.
we have a consensus.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for that, and thank you for, if you've come to attend on this, we appreciate it. I also want to make sure that that folks know that there was a tribal leader meeting that Terry had attended with me, and we had talked about this and invited folks to come to it as well, that from the tribes. So, so that.
I have a question.